Welcome to the In My Opinion Show with Ron Barry Robinson and friends. I am Henry Hatter, your co-host this afternoon. To view the show, please go to YouTube or Facebook and type the capital letters in RBRIMO. To view this show and our most distinguished recent calendar of shows, I have an excellent list of guests today. What you're looking at is the part of the Republican Party leadership, the likes of which we never had at this show or in this community. There are 3 of them who are elected at top positions in the Republican Party. So what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, I have, first of all, I have by titles and numbers. I have, look at it.
Linda Lee Tarver.
Yeah, Linda Lee.
Ethnic Vice Chair.
Yeah. And Blake Edmond.
And I'm the Michigan Republican.
Yes. You will be able to talk about that. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about how we're going to conduct the show. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to allow you to identify the position for which you were elected, and you're going to expound on that. And then you're going to talk about the strategies and the plan that you've got ready to execute. And you may use up to 3 minutes to do that. But and then we will talk about, there may be questions that may come from a point you made that begs another question. Okay?
Yes.
And that will be included in that. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I will throw in, as we get closer to the end of the show, some of the issues out there that are pertinent to your election and the position you hold in the community as they change. These kind of things change all the time, and you're looking at new nuances all the time, okay? So, Linda, I'm going to start with you. You're the most experienced at this process. So please tell us a little bit about your background. You may use that 3 minutes.
All right. I'm the youngest of 10 children. And so my parents came from Evergreen, Alabama. My mother cleaned houses and my father worked for Coca-Cola in the plants. And I learned early on how to share. They came to Michigan in the 1940s. And so it was quite a different society then for them, and quite a different Michigan from that time. What they wanted for me and for my siblings was to improve our lives, and they were very conservative people. So naturally, the Republican Party was a natural fit for me because of my parents, because of what they instilled in me, and because of what I saw in them. And so it was a natural fit. I'm married. I have 2 children. My daughter graduated from MSU, and my son graduated from Howard University in D.C. And I am 29 years with the state of Michigan, and so quite proud of that. I was elected as the ethnic vice chair for the Michigan Republican Party in 2011 and reelected in 2013. Like any other community board, it provides oversight. We are a non-paid position, and so we provide oversight and direction and give guidance and submit plans on our respective areas. And so mine deals with ethnicity. Ethnicity, of course, is race and religion in short, just to simplify that. And so I provide guidance and direction on not just outreach, because outreach is not enough. It is relationship building in the communities, both race and religion, religious communities and racial communities. Relationship building. and not necessarily to sell a party, but to promote ideas and concepts and legislation that makes sense, that benefits our communities. And so that's what my goal is to take away the stereotypes and take away some of the concepts or preconceived ideas about the Republican Party, that it is a party of rich white guys only, but it's not. It's our party, and we're here to represent the party because we believe in, I can speak for myself, but I believe in conservative principles. Is it perfect? Not all. Nothing is perfect.
Explain what conservative principles
Well,
are.
conservative principles that I grew up on from my parents, again, these two people that came from Evergreen, Alabama, they believed in personal responsibility. They did not rely, I'm the youngest of 10. We never took aid, although my parents worked very hard to provide, and they lived within their means. They saved their money. They gave to the Lord. They tithed. They shared their wealth. They provided a legacy. They instructed us to get an education. They made sure that we were serious about it. We were disciplined. We attended church services. We worshiped God, and we were told to be very respectful of our elders. And those were things that we believe in life. They valued life. We took care of our elderly, and we didn't, pawn them off on anyone else. And so those are the principles that I grew up on. But the fiscal principles that we grew up on were based out of the Word of God. We were told to live within our means and to spend what we had, but save money. So we were taught about good credit and making sure that we made a provision and left an inheritance to our children.
And I'm so glad you said that, because it doesn't look like a Republican principle. This looks like more common sense and good judgment.
Absolutely.
And so that you can fend for your own and blame nobody else.
Absolutely.
And sometimes people will think, well, you're trying to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But it has nothing to do with that. It's getting up, setting your vision for the day, getting started, and go out and make some things happen for you that benefits your family and that's favorable for your condition.
I was raised poor, but I did not know I was poor. And we were poor, but we did not know we were poor. We enjoyed our family. We shared. We stretched things, and God was good to us. And so I know that we have to be accountable for our actions.
Thank you for that introduction to your background and your family. I think it was a great background. Now I'm going to go to Blake.
Well, my name is Blake Edmonds. I'm the Michigan Republican Party Youth Chair. What that means is I work to reach out to all the young people that haven't discovered the party yet or who are just getting involved. I do my best by exploring different ways to reach out to these young people. I usually try and start with their values, what we believe in, before throwing out a label or anything like that, because I want to have an open discussion. And so that's led me to traveling around the state quite a bit, speaking to different groups. Our state is one of the best states for really coming back and trying to invigorate the youth and bring them into the party. That's something I'm glad to be a part of. And I think the reason that this was such a good fit for me was a lot on my background. One of my mentors always used to say, to know where someone's going, you have to know where they've been. And I grew up St. Joseph, Benton Harbor area in southwest Michigan. And there were certain things instilled, just like Linda, in myself about hard work and perseverance, and that anything worth having was worth working for.
Now, please do some changes in those definitions of perseverance and working hard, because many people will say, well, you're just parroting what Republicans always say. And so you want to give us some incident of where you're going with the argument, how it works, who's involved, how you
Certainly.
make things happen. from those perspectives?
Well, as far as the perseverance, one thing my mother always taught me was even when things were rough, even when things weren't going the way you would hope they were, you never looked to somebody else. You never put the blame on somebody else. They weren't society's problems. They were problems that we needed to work on and to persevere. So no matter how far back you thought you had fallen, you weren't looking for somebody else to come and say, here, let me do this for you. It was actually more of a, here, how can I help you do this for yourself? Mm-hmm. And we always, that's what I learned about perseverance. And then we also learned...
Is it working for you?
It's working so far.
Do you see a horizon out that you could achieve based upon your philosophy here?
I do. I see with the perseverance...
Well, tell it to the young people out there because they need to hear this.
As far as perseverance goes, that's one thing that's very important, especially when working with the youth movement, is because there are a lot of people who've become so discouraged that, you know, this party isn't for them, or that we can't even, or from the party's perspective, we can't reach out to them. And because I have that perseverance, I'm constantly waking up each day, like you said. I set a vision for the day, and I say, you know what? I'm going to go out, and I'm going to talk to this many young people today. I'm going to tell them what our party stands for. I'm going to show them what we need to do in the future, and I'm going to show them that what we're trying to do in the party is we're not trying to take away all your benefits and everything else. We're trying to show you what those benefits are worth and why they have to be worked for, because nothing in life is free, and so many young people out there think it is, and that's just something I wasn't raised to believe. I know everything takes something. Everything takes a little bit of work. Everything takes a little bit of time, a little bit of money. And that's what I want to tell young people today, is there isn't anything you think is free, unless maybe it's a free sandwich at your local delicatessen. It costs somebody something. And even if you're not seeing the direct cost right now, like let's say you have student loans that have been subsidized by the federal government, or you have assistance you get for being in school and things like that, that's not free. That's costing taxpayers. There are people out there who are paying for your education, who genuinely want you to be educated, and that they're doing their best, they're working their long hours to help you. And so when you enter society, which we're not seeing right now, is when you enter society, you also have to contribute, because those people contribute to help you.
Use about 25 seconds and tell us how your situation compares to other people who are watching you, young people out there who are in high school or just beginning to college. They may think they have insurmountable problems, but can you kind of equate what you're doing with those people who may be in those circumstances where they say, I can't do it, and I don't have the money, or I don't have the right skills to move ahead? What would you say to those people? About 50 words, because we have to move on.
All right. Well, what I would say is never give up. No problem is insurmountable. Always work to do your best, because it'll always get better. I'd like to say that. I come from, average background, and the reason we've come this far is because I had good mentors, and I never gave up. So I guess my thing would be never give up. There's always something you can still achieve, no matter where you come from.
Thank you, Blake and Melinda. I'm going to move on to Kelly now. Kelly, would you go through the process of telling us who you are, what your position is, how you go about achieving that position so that you will be considered successful at the end of your 2-year career?
Well, I would like to say thank you first for having us, and out of full disclosure, you are my father, and so I just wanted to say that. So as well as you know, I've lived in Michigan my entire life. I grew up in a traditional Republican family where I'm echoing Blake and Linda that through hard work, education, and self-sufficiency that you can have anything you want in this life. My Republican advocacy began as a teenager. I was a young Republican. I have been a delegate to the county and state convention in both the 3rd District, which is Genesee County, and the 5th District, Kent County, spanning more than 20 years. I'm a precinct delegate. I'm a former 3rd District committee member. I, as well as yourself, were both, we made history, I think, when we were both elected to the Electoral College in 2012. I'm very active in my community in Grand Rapids outside of politics. I'm an avid volunteer, and as Outreach Vice Chair, it's my job to spread the Republican message, a positive Republican message, that the Republicans are open for business and we're all about inclusion, that there's room for all under the umbrella. And so I've been traveling around the state. This is my first tenure, and I also would like to add that when I ran, I was the only woman in the 4 contested races. I was the only person to have 2 opponents. I ran against a well-known Tea Party activist and a lobbyist, so I had my back against the wall, but I came out on top, and I'm very, very honored and privileged to be serving as Outreach Vice Chair for the Michigan Republican Party. I've been traveling around the state, going to various Lincoln Day dinners, and meeting with people, and just basically just spreading our Republican message that freedom is the only way to prosperity.
How do you convince people that freedom is the only way to prosperity, because it's so subjective? What should you have as a construct to graphically show that? Linda?
Well, part of the outreach, we're not here necessarily to sell the party more than we are here to share the principles and the message that we have adopted for our own and feel that we can improve and contribute to. But I'll give you a simple example. Schools of choice is where I live in Lansing and raised my 2 children in Lansing, but I did not send them to a Lansing public schools. I really felt that they would have a better chance and opportunity at quality education. That was a Republican initiative under Governor Engler to promote schools of choice. And with respect to politics, you have to be careful about the party that you support and the principles that they have. And if that party's platform does not align to your prosperity, you may want to take another look at the other. And so I share a lot of the principles that and the legislation that the Republican Party promotes, because it has benefited me and mine, and I believe it can benefit others. The taxes, the overburdening of taxes, the number one growing business group for businesses is small businesses like my husband's. He's overtaxed, he's overregulated, and those things the government should stay away from, should step out of.
Thank you, Linda. Blake, 30 seconds.
On the best construct, I would say demonstrates the benefit of the party is the 4 of us sitting here. The things we've been able to achieve are a lot of the opportunities we've been given in the party to succeed. There was never I guess, we weren't promoted to these positions because the party wanted to look good. We got here because, look at the party. They recognized what they wanted in these positions, and that's what they voted for.
Well, we're going to come back to that, because those are some very important questions that I want to ask, and that's the meat of the substance of what you're talking about. Now, in 2012, the public and the critics of the Republican Party and some of the people internally said that the Republican Party had not done enough to reach out to people of color, to African Americans, to Hispanics, and so on and so forth. How much of that is substance, and how much is fluff?
Well, if you want me to take that.
Yes, go ahead, and then we'll all take about 1 minute on
Okay.
it.
Part of it is true and part of it is not. Some of it is true, some of it's not. I believe in some areas we could have done a better job of outreach, but others is I didn't join the party because someone reached out to me. I wanted to make a difference in a political party. My political activism begins with voting. So your politics begins with voting, whoever is out there listening. You contribute to politics when you vote. But if you want a more active role, you can certainly look at a political party that aligns with your values. I went out and sought out the Republican Party and decided to join the party in lieu of waiting for them to join me. And I felt that I could do a better job of promoting policies and having access to leaders from within the party than I could without.
Thank you. I got to move on. Blake and Kelly, I'm going to ask you this. Can you, based upon that response and that question, can you go back and defend the Republican Party for appearing that way? Because anything that you can't defend and has not been defended, the general public would think is true. And I've never heard anybody say we don't have a problem, that the Republican Party is an open platform. Anybody who wants to walk into this office and sign a petition to become a precinct delegate can do so. There's no barriers.
Right.
And nobody ever says it. And people don't know because nobody says it. Now, please do defend that. I'll start with you, Blake.
Well, what we've seen recently is people do have this idea that we aren't a big tent party. We're not inviting. And I just want to be the first to tell everyone out there that we are. We are working to expand the party beyond race, color, religion, faith, all of those things. We want to expand. We want constant conversation within the party about how we can become better. And so I just want to say we are not opposed to that. You hear a lot of things, a very vocal minority sometimes that may not seem that we're that
What
welcoming.
will you do to change that perspective of you? Now, you guys are elected to the state Republican Party leadership, and there's a job for you because nobody ever speaks up and says that's not true. You can go in as you can a Democrat. If I wanted to go in and sign a petition for a Democrat, no, who's going to stop me? We live in a free and democratic society where everybody have equal chances. But nobody has stepped up and said that about the Republican Party. Just say the Republican Party is against you, and we live with those perspectives. We need to change that, and you got to remember that before 1932, African Americans were Republicans, the party of
Absolutely.
Lincoln. But then somehow, all of a sudden, we got the ball rolling down the hill, and people say, well, they don't want us. They're biased. What do you say, Kelly?
Well, I have a unique perspective because I've been a Republican my whole life, and I don't believe that's true. I believe that we are welcoming, that anywhere that I go, I think that my own race actually are against me when I tell them I'm a Republican. I'm more accepted by Republicans, I think, that I am by my own.
I think that's true of all of us.
Yes,
we
absolutely.
experience that same thing.
So I would say that the Republican Party is open for everyone. Like I said before, they're welcome. Anyone under the umbrella is welcome. And
You agree?
No.
To elaborate on that point, she's right. I think we really need to spread the message that we're just like everybody else. We put our pants on one leg at a time. We all, come from very humble beginnings, and it's not. You don't have to be rich to be a member of the party. I mean, I work 2 jobs and go to school, and that's so true for so many of the party.
Okay, now
Can I just add real quick
Okay.
too that the Michigan Republican Party, the leadership or the delegates, they spoke and they elected us as their leadership. So that right there speaks volumes in itself here in the state of Michigan.
Okay, I'm going to quick forward to something else, and these are issues that are that change or stand from time to time. On Wednesday, we had the "I Have a Dream" speech was now focused again on the American scene, and I want to ask you: did Martin Luther King get it right in his message?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I agree with you on that. Has a good dream been achieved?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But not for everyone.
Okay. Now, explain.
Well, Martin Luther King talked about a colorblind society. He didn't talk about a colorless society. So diversity, different cultures, ethnic groups, all of that is necessary for this melting pot. He did not want the color blind society to be a colorless society. I am like my, James Brown said, I'm black and I'm proud. Well, I'm so proud to be a black woman. And that doesn't change my political views, however, because separating politics from your culture, you should embrace your culture. You should embrace your blackness and your history without
Great response.
necessarily.
I got to hurry up, move on.
Absolutely.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you two real questions. Do you think the American democracy has run its course?
By no means. I think the American democracy is the greatest experiment in the world and in history. We are constantly evolving, constantly changing. And to go back to that greatest experiment in the world, we change every day. We
What do
show
you
the
think,
world
Kelly?
what we're...
Quickly.
Well, I would like to answer the question about Martin Luther King, actually. Is that okay?
Yeah, go.
Okay, well, when Martin Luther King stood in the steps of the Lincoln Memorial 50 years ago, he said in 1963, it's not an end but a beginning. And after half a century, his words has grown stronger. And the Republican Party, we're there to help minority-owned businesses and to strengthen our education system.
Got to move on.
Okay.
Linda, 25 seconds.
All right. Just wanted to thank you and take the opportunity.
No, we can go respond to the question.
All right. Yes, 50 years ago we had people looking for jobs, people looking for work and justice. And so we still have that today, but you will find it in the Republican Party.
Has President Obama been a successful president?
No.
Not in my
Say that,
opinion.
not my opinion.
You should speak what you will.
No,
Okay,
not in
not
my
my
opinion.
opinion.
Okay. And we can't explain, okay?
Okay.
Because we don't have the time. I got to start wrapping up now. I want to thank my guest, and I hope that you will come back again and again because you have a story to tell. There are people out there that want to hear more from you because they've never heard this message before. They want to see dialogue. They want to see you balance the arguments on both sides of the table. And I hope that you will come back.
Thank you.
Linda Lee Tarver, Blake Edmonds, and Kelly Hatter.
And I would like to say that we have some things for the food bank also. for
Okay,
you.
okay. I got to leave you guys
Okay.
now. I know this is a great discussion, but we got to go. I want to thank our audience for our guests today, Linda Lee Tarver, Blake Edmonds, and Kelly Mitchell Hatter. Okay, Heather Mitchell. Until next time, I would say stay focused.